Well, World Economic Forum's Klaus Schwab, an authoritarian tyrant, has just created what I am calling the blueprint for the mark of the beast. And when you guys hear what's in this thing, your jaw is literally going to hit the floor because it really feels as if the book of Revelation is coming to life. Now, before I get into this report, I just want to remind you, check out my partner. They're one of the reasons that I'm able to stay here on YouTube. Go to ketowithlisa.com and take advantage of up to 51% off of their amazing keto. If you're looking to lose weight, which is something that I have done this year, check out this keto powder. It's like doing the keto diet without all the hassle of the keto diet. And check it out at ketowithlisa.com. All right, so let's dive into this authoritarian dictator, Klaus Schwab, who has just created a document of which I'm dubbing the Mark of the Beast Blueprint. And the reason that I'm dubbing it this is because it doesn't entertain the idea. It promotes the idea of the Great Reset, which is a complete reset of our entire economy and our entire way of life, which basically puts all of economy under the power of a controlled authoritarian mass. In other words, you have someone telling you what you can buy, what you can't buy, everything basically funnels through this authoritarian government who claims to take care of all your basic needs while they themselves are living a high life. But this document that I'm about to show you, and I'm taking you straight to it, it's called Advancing Digital Agency, and it's by the World Economic Forum, the power of data intermediaries. And that's the key word, is these intermediaries, because this is the way that they plan on accomplishing the Great Reset. Also, the Mark of the Beast technology is all inside of this, as you're going to see. But you're also, if you notice there, this is brand new. It was just published February 2022. So here's what it says in the opening of this. And I'm going to focus on this challenge section here. And here's what it says. Everyone is familiar with the paradigm of going online and clicking on terms and conditions that they don't understand or take time to read. No one knows, nor do they follow, what happens to their data. This status quo creates a reliance on companies to be responsible, but can lead to mistrust in the data ecosystem as a whole. Further, mistrust between people and technology becomes amplified the more complex the data system becomes over time. Where once people had screens to navigate new ambient data collection methods and their many benefits create nervousness and resignation when people don't have the full picture. See how they're twisting this? In some cases, individuals may opt out of interacting with technologies that would be of huge benefit to their lives. Now, this next question is what everything hinges on in this report. And it asks this question, but what if it were possible to outsource these decision points to a trusted agent acting on behalf of an individual or even a group's behalf? In other words, what if you could outsource and give someone else the ability, or something better yet, the ability to make all your decisions for you? It goes on, a new approach. Here's what they're talking about. What if there's a better way? What if you could outsource the decision-making fatigue, because it's so hard to make all those decisions on your own, to a trusted third party, which is just insane. What if you could pre-consent to your preferences so that you did not need to continually opt in? What if technology allowed you to outsource your decision-making even further to a digitally automated agent, potentially using AI, artificial intelligence, which could actively make those decisions for you? There it is. They get to make those decisions for you. All such scenarios require the enlisting of an intermediary, and that's what they're calling this. They're calling this entire thing a data intermediary. Now I'm just going to hit pause, but the entire precipice of this entire report is, let's get an AI created or some kind of third party thing that makes every decision for you. Like lots of them, like your privacy, whether or not you want to accept your privacy. And of course they say you can set it to your own standards, but this AI gets to pick who's trustworthy and who's not. This is terrifying. This makes George Orwell's, again, 1984, look like a walk in a park. We're not talking, some TV that watches you 24/7 like on George Orwell's 1984. We're talking about technology that can be implanted in your skin or via an ID that tracks everything. This is a authoritarian heaven if you will, for them, authoritarian nightmare for us. They could just turn your chip off at the click of a dime. Now, here's what this little intermediary is all about, right? And it says this, and this is on page 9. A data intermediary can play a significant role in enabling people to be in more control of their data, so they claim. But it also says, and I'm going to focus on this part, a data intermediary can play a significant role in, and this is the second part, determining what personal data is shared with which participants and for what purposes. In other words, those AIs get to determine who gets your information, when and how they get that information. It goes on. Here's some of the things that they entertain about this intermediary. And this is on page 12. It says automated decision-making by a digital agent. Yay! In this scenario, a data intermediary digital agent takes on the role of decision maker. They decide things. Consent is automated as before, but this time using AI. The data intermediary agent decides autonomously what kind of data permissions a person might like. Imagine. It goes on and expands on that a little more. Again, on page 12, it says the move is towards a fully automated system of personal data collection and processing to overcome notice and consent limitations. This is scary, they admit. An amazing space, and arguably not so different from a world absent of any data protection and privacy requirements. The difference here is that there is a system ideally with backstops designed in human-centric manner and therefore retains the preferences of the user and exerts limits accordingly. And again, this is all about control over all of your information. Businesses, everything. And here's an example of what these intermediaries can do. Here's just a few examples of some of the stuff they do. They can store your individual personal data, all of your personal data, all of it. They can advise individuals on the use of the data, including tracking, right? Tracking, let's know. Strengthening individuals' negotiation power. You mean negotiation power for the AI, more specifically, I would contend. Leverage individuals' personal data for social impact. You know, if that business finds out you're posting certain political things and they don't like it and they share that with the business that you're applying for, God forbid, Christians, conservatives, and everything could get kicked out of every industry. Providing added value services, adding as data aggregator and so on, and acting as a proxy for consent. A proxy for consent. This is your little God, and I mean little g, that gets to make all your life decisions for you. And you know what? They go on to talk about the government's role in this whole thing. And by the way, I've read this entire 40 some odd page report. It all hinges on the government controlling every aspect of it. In other words, they make the rules, the legislations, all the requirements around it. And of course, these little AIs, or third party, whatever, will give all the information to these trusted sources, you know, the NSA, the FBI, the CIA, the fusion centers, the executive office, congressional leaders, whoever they deem. This is not anything other than complete control over everything spoken of in Bible prophecy, by the way. That's why I call it the blueprint for the mark of the beast. And here's what it says. Whether a public body can be said to be trusted will depend on the role of the government in any given country, its level of control, access, and use of surveillance laws and related technology. So whether this AI can be trusted lies fully on the government. Here in the U.S., that would be the U.S. government. So we say. So they say. Why couldn't the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, be in charge? Or the United Nations, right? Although a super intermediary may enable vast sharing of data between multiple participants, enabling economies of scale and a consent approach, even across borders. If there is no trust in the system, in the government, and its underlying intentions, there may not be active use unless under the force of law. Yeah, you read that right. Under the force of law. In other words, they could force this on you. If you don't like it and you don't want that little national ID card or that chip in your right hand or forehead, per the Bible, they can force it. Let's force it under law, kind of like they did with vaccine passports, right? Kind of like that. And here's an example, and I'm not going to go through all of this. If you guys want to look through it, it's on page 26 of the report. But here's an example of what they're calling a trusted digital agent. And here's some of the decisions that they can make: consents, information on the person. They give out all your information, your business model, your types of organization, all of this, compliance on data, accuracy of the data, all of this. And you can pause it, and it's basically everything I've been saying, and I'm going to go through it in more detail, but all of this information from medical to everything, all in this little trusted agent. Now, here's the interesting part is how exactly does this trusted agent work? Well, they have to link it either to some kind of ID card or some kind of microchip implant. And that's discussed in this entire report. Q, blueprint, for the freaking mark of the beast. Here it is. The role of digital identity. And here it is. Digital identity. The digital identity is the electronic equivalent of an individual's ID card. It's a way to provide verified personal identifying information of an individual for a software to read and process, both online and even offline. Environments can adopt this digital ID, and it can act as a key by storing and deploying permissions. It goes on. And here's what it shows. This is a huge part of it. This is on page 22. I encourage you to look through this whole thing. But this is what this digital ID, and as you're going to see, can also be implanted right under the skin. And also, these digital IDs contain biometrics. By the way, I'm going to show you that in a minute. But it includes all this information: your healthcare information, all of your bank accounts, your financial services, your food and sustainability, all of that information, travel, if you want to travel or go anywhere, you want to book a trip, humanitarian responses in foreign countries, e-commerce, if you want to shop, conduct businesses, social platforms. Yes, you heard that right. Social media, all of your logins, everything, so they can track your political history, what you're looking at, how you're looking at, what category they can put you in. And again, as I quoted before, if you go and apply for a job and they don't like your political views, you're out. You're out. This is how Christians get segregated in the latter days. We have e-government as well. All your taxes, your voting, that's terrifying. All done on this little thing, and telecommunications as well. All of it. All of it. Controlled, by the way, by governments who get to regulate the hell out of you. Then it goes on at the bottom there about these digital evolving scopes, and it says this: authentication, process that determine if authenticators use fingerprints, passwords, basically biometric IDs, to claim an ID are valid. Sometimes digital ID goes beyond authentication. Authentication is a secure process that compares attributes to confirm a claim. In principle, there's no need to know who the person is. In digital identity, there may be need to link a person to their identity, and that may require identity verification technologies. And profiles, right, may include data attributes such as biometrics. There it is. Or assigned attributes such as names or national identification numbers, social security numbers, those kinds of things. Credit or medical histories, all your medical histories and judgments or decisions based off that process. In other words, if they don't like who you are politically, well, you would be destroyed in the society, just like Christians and conservatives and libertarians are now getting kicked out of banks, insurance companies, getting kicked off of social media platforms, and the whole 9 yards. And here's the kicker on this whole thing. And when I say mark of the beast level stuff, here it is. Here's the future of these digital identities. What does the future hold? The next level of data intermediaries embedded in the body, in devices, or in homes, cities, etc. Yes, you read that right. Embedded in the body. This is the whole plan of Klaus Schwab. And they actually, shortly thereafter, on page 24, they get into vaccine passports and how this is a piece of the puzzle of where they're headed. Listen to what Klaus Schwab had to say about, well, biometrics and IDs and these microchip implants that he wants to put in the body, and I believe it's by 2026. Take a listen.
Aujourd'hui, au bout de ça, on parle de puces qu'on pourra s'implanter. Ce sera quand ça?
Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et d'abord, on va les implanter dans nos vêtements, c'est-à-dire wearables, comme on le dit. Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans nos cerveaux ou dans nos topos. Et à la fin, peut-être il y a une communication directe entre notre cerveau et le monde digital. Ce que nous voyons, c'est une sorte de fusion du monde physique, digital et biologique.
There you have it. He's pretty clear on where they're going there, and it's all part of the Great Reset plan. And in conclusion to this entire document, they need one little thing from you, and that is this. There must be a high degree of individual control. Ooh, they admit that. And open knowledge development into the framework to ease concerns of your surveillance, misuse, and security vulnerabilities. In other words, they need to control everything about you, and they have to gain your trust. They have to gain the ability to surveillance you, and they have to know all of your vulnerabilities. You want to know where we're going? Read the book of Revelation. There's so much in there about the mark of the beast and all of that. And if you really want to know some of that information, get to restrictiverepublic.com. I can't stress this enough. We're not going to be on these platforms much longer with all of this that is going down. And right now, we are giving away Restrictive Republic free for 2 entire months. Use the coupon code 2, the number 2, and the word free, and you can get it free for 2 months. You can cancel whenever you want. You don't have to stay on there, but you can see all the videos that we have on there are critical. You're going to want to see some of that. And we do live stream events now and then, and we also publish all the content from YouTube on there without any commercials. But get to Restrictive Republic. Check it out today. I'm an author there, and so is Justice Knight. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.